Today, we are talking all about what I like to call the king of all the macros, and that's protein. Companies love to promote that their food is high in protein. So you might be eating a bunch of snacks here and there that have more protein powder added than you think. It might not be protein coming from whole sources like animal meats or vegetables. It might actually just be coming from protein powder, which is okay, but you definitely don't want to get all your food from just one type of protein source. So some things that are going to have protein powder in them that you just might not realize are going to be protein bars. It could be those protein pancake mixes like Flapjack and Kodiak cakes. They're definitely going to have added protein powder in them as well. Even sometimes when you go get a smoothie from a restaurant or have any mixed coffee drinks from different places, they might be adding protein powder if there is extra protein in the nutrition information. Hitting your total protein, typically I've seen that this is more difficult for women than it is for men, but it is one of the more difficult macros to hit at the end of the day if it's not something that you're paying attention to. I mean, carbs and fat just tend to be slightly more delicious. If you're listening and you think protein is the most delicious, you're definitely an anomaly. But clever ways that you can get protein into your diet that you might not have thought of is adding liquid egg whites to certain things. So adding egg whites to your oatmeal and putting that in, it won't come out the consistency of eggs, but it's definitely a way to add volume to your oatmeal and add protein as well. There are also varied ways, kind of like we talked about in the first question, but there's different ways you can add protein powder to different things. When I discovered that protein powder mixed into my coffee was delicious, it was a game changer for me. It kind of tastes like a mocha latte. It is absolutely delicious. Don't knock it until you try it. I also would suggest that when you're sitting down for a large meal, try and get some type of protein source in each meal. So making that a priority, whether it's a salad, adding protein to that salad, or when you're making that salad, make sure that you have a bunch of high protein vegetable sources in there. There are a lot of plant-based sources that are going to be higher in protein. We actually have an entire blog on the Working Against Gravity website that's all about vegan sources of protein. So if you search Working Against Gravity, vegan protein sources, that blog is going to come up. It's a laundry list of things that you can choose that are plant-based. When you're setting up your fridge to make following any nutrition program easier, what you see is what you're going to most often eat. So the first thing I would do is rearrange your entire fridge. Most of you are probably putting your vegetables and your fruit and your really healthy items in the crisper to try and keep them fresh. But how many of you have gone way too long and haven't eaten them and had to throw them out because they've gone bad, right? So I would suggest instead of putting the healthy, high volume, low calorie options in the drawer crisper, take them out and put them front and center on the shelf to make you 10 times more likelier to eat them. Not sure if 10 times is actually super accurate, but I know that if you read a book called Slim by Design, he actually did reference a study that talked about exactly how much more likely you are to eat those things if they're front and center on the shelf instead of tucked away in the crisper. What you can tuck away in the crisper is the things that might not be as focused on your nutrition program. So things that are going to be higher calorie, more highly palatable, things like chocolate or cheeses or dressings or dips or things that you can definitely overindulge in, make those less accessible and less likely to see. So that's gonna be my best tips for you to set up your fridge. For those of you that planning ahead is going to make things easier for you, having Tupperware is going to be a game changer for you. I'm not necessarily a planner, but even for me, having Tupperware and being able to put a meal into the Tupperware and take it with me whenever I'm going somewhere makes sure that I'm never going to be without food on the go. I'm not going to be hungry out and looking for the most convenient option, which generally doesn't fit my nutrition plan. So having really good quality, really big and stable Tupperware that can go and not leak with you, that's going to be really helpful when you're following any nutrition program. So now, combining the two things together, how to set up your fridge and how Tupperware is helpful for you, something that might be really helpful for people that are struggling to hit their protein is to have a Tupperware filled with pre-cooked protein. I mean, if it's really difficult for you, making it as convenient as possible, having an entire Tupperware filled with cooked chicken breasts or cooked flank steak or whatever it is that you love to eat, it's going to make it really easy to just grab some, measure it out, and have it so that you can hit your protein goal for the day. you have no more excuses not to hit your protein. These are some great tips to make sure that that's going to be a macro that's no longer difficult for you.